Hi there, it's Justin Lubino with Senior Advisors. Today is Tuesday, September 27th, 2022, and I have some good news to share. So today, CMS announced the Part B premiums for 2023. This is good news for a couple of reasons. Number one, we normally don't get this information till November, so we're already in the middle of the annual enrollment period. And that's the point at which we normally find out about what's changing for 2023. So it's nice that we got this information earlier in the process. And secondarily, it's nice that the premiums are actually going down for 2023. So I'm going to walk you through what's changing for 2023 with the Part B premiums, as well as the income-related monthly adjustment amounts, also known as IRMAAs. Okay, so these charts we review every year as these premiums change. And this year, you're seeing the comparison of 2022's premiums to what's upcoming for 2023. The changes are in orange font. So the first change is the actual income tiers that are being used for the base income bracket. In 2022, we were looking at single income below 91,000, joint income below 182,000 to pay the base premium of $170.10 per month. In 2023, these income brackets are going up, which is a good thing for folks that were on the borderline. It's going up to 97,000 for single income and 194,000 for joint income filers. And again, the premiums are being reduced to $164.90 per month. That's the base Part B premium for next year. So it went down approximately $5 per month. Not a huge reduction, but still positive news versus prior years where we've seen big increases in these Part B premiums. The main reason these premiums are going down this year is actually because they were significantly inflated in 2022. So this $170 per month was actually a big increase from 2021's numbers. And the reason for that was a drug, an experimental Alzheimer's drug, which was intended to be covered by Medicare. And so they were baking that into the pricing to cover that medication. Some things have changed with the price of that drug as well as the coverage for it. And thus, that's one of the main reasons that the premiums are coming down for next year. For the other income tiers, these have also increased the income levels, which again is a positive thing. If you're on the borderline, may push you to a lower income tier. The second one you can see is 97,000 to 123, where last year was 91 to 114, and so on and so forth. And you can see these further tiers, the higher you go up, you do pay a higher amount to the government for those because of the income-related monthly adjustment amounts. So the top bracket, if you happen to be fortunate enough to be in either above 500,000 as a single or above 750 as a joint filer, would pay $560.50 per month. Okay, so that is the Part B premiums and what's changing for 2023, as you can see in this chart. There is also Part D, as in drug premiums, have an IRMAA if you're in a higher income bracket. So this chart here shows how much you pay the government for the IRMAA on your Part D drug plan if you're in a higher bracket. So if you're in that base income bracket, you're only going to pay the plan premium for the drug coverage, which varies anywhere from roughly $10 a month up to maybe $100 a month. But you're just going to pay that premium to the drug company for the drug plan. However, if you're in one of these higher income brackets, you have to pay an IRMAA to the government each month in addition to your plan premium for the drug coverage. So, for example, you'll pay, if you're in the second income tier, $12.20 a month plus your plan premium. If you're in the third bracket, $31.50, and then so forth, all the way up to $76 a month in IRMAA just for that Part D drug coverage. And that's, again, in addition to whatever plan premium you're paying for that prescription drug coverage. All right, so these tiers are the same income tiers we saw on the prior slide, but they're just showing you there's an IRMAA for the drug coverage as well as the Part B as in boy. The next slide here, all we do is add those up together. So for folks that are in a higher income bracket, they can see what is the total amount they're going to have to pay the government. So again, the base income bracket is only going to pay the base amount, the $164.90 per month. But if you're in one of these higher brackets, you're going to pay $243, $361. This is the sum total of the Part B premiums, the IRMAAs on Part B, and the IRMAA on Part D as in drugs. So that's really the important number if you're planning what's it going to cost me if I go on Medicare and Part B and D. And if I'm in a higher income bracket, these are the amounts you're going to pay. All right. Now, what income is being used to determine these premiums? Well, it's the last tax return that the government has processed. So for example, for 2023, at the end of this year, which is 2022, what is the last tax return the government has? It's 2021. So this is always going to be 2 years delayed, because at the end of 2022, the 2021 tax return is going to be used to determine your 2023 premiums and IRMAAs. So if you had a higher income in 2021, but now you're going to be retiring and you're no longer going to be in that tax bracket, there is an appeals process, which I'm going to mention on the next slide. But the last thing I'll mention on the income that's being used, it's called Modified Adjusted Gross Income, MAGI, which for most people is going to be the same as your AGI, Adjusted Gross Income. But it's possible that it could be slightly higher than your AGI. The government's going to tell you this once you sign up for Part B. They're going to mail you a letter that explains you have to pay these additional amounts based upon your tax return and so forth. But that's what they're looking at, the modified adjusted gross income. Now, I mentioned the appeals process. So if you're no longer going to be in one of those income brackets, or you're going to be in a lower income tier because of a life event, most common would be work stoppage or work reduction. Then you fill out this form. It's called SSA 44, and you submit that to Social Security, and you check off that you're having a work stoppage or what the reason is, and you put the date of the event. And there's another section where you're going to put your projected income for the following year because of the life-changing event. And they're going to just take your word for it, essentially. You put in your projected income is going to be $75,000. And they just basically will put you back to that base amount. Again, if that's your real projected income, and you won't have to pay those additional IRMAA amounts. Now, obviously, 2 years later, when you do your tax returns, if you come back in at a higher income at $200,000 again, or whatever the bracket is, they're going to come back at you for all the difference in those IRMAAs for that period of time where you had a higher income, even though you appealed it down. So again, this is a great process. If you're going to be in a lower income bracket, you should definitely be appealing using this form so you don't have to wait 2 years for the government to get caught up on these IRMAAs. All right. One other thing I just want to touch on that's changing for 2023 is the cost sharing with both Part A and Part B. This chart shows us the deductible and coinsurance amounts between 2022 and 2023 as it relates to Part A, which is the hospital benefit. Now, before I get into too much detail here, if you have a Medicare supplement, one of the more common Medicare supplements, Plan F, Plan G, Plan N, those would be the more popular Medicare supplements. If you have one of those, you don't have to worry about these Part A deductible or coinsurance changes because your supplement will cover these deductibles and coinsurance amounts. So these will not impact you if you have one of those Medicare supplements. If you do not have a Medicare supplement and all you have is original Medicare, then these will impact you if you're in the hospital. Your deductible goes up slightly. If you're in the hospital for more than 60 days, you're going to have this copay of $400 per day. And if you're in the hospital more than 90 days, that copay goes up to $800 per day in the hospital. All right. And then for skilled nursing care, if you get transferred from the hospital into a skilled nursing facility, that's, for example, you're in the hospital for a few days due to a stroke or a knee replacement, and then you get transferred into that skilled nursing or rehab facility. The first 20 days are fully covered by Medicare, but for starting from day 21 through day 100, there's this daily copay. It's going up to $200 per day in the skilled nursing care. All right. Again, if you have a supplement, those popular ones I mentioned, you don't have to worry about this. These amounts are all covered by the supplement. The other thing that changed for next year is the deductible under Part B as in boy, which is your medical coverage. That's your doctors, your specialists, testing, x-rays, CAT scans, expensive things like chemotherapy, kidney dialysis, infusion therapies. That's all under the Part B umbrella with Medicare. And there's a deductible with Part B. In 2022, it's $233. I'm sorry, in 2022, it's $233. In 2023, it's reducing by $7 to $226. Again, that's a positive change. It's not a huge reduction, but the fact that it went down is nice rather than having to communicate an increase in this deductible for next year. So those are some of the changes that were announced today on September 27, 2022. We have other videos out there that we've created over the last month or so regarding some big changes coming under Part D, as in drugs, for 23, 24, and 25. I'll put the links to those videos on top of this video so you can see those. I recommend you subscribe to us on YouTube to get all of our latest updates. Like this video, comment on it if you found it beneficial. You can also follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn as well to get our updates there. Thank you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.